The words to describe Malik Nabers: juice, the real wide receiver one, and deep threat. Daniel Harms, how do you describe Malik Nabers whenever you look at his tape?
Well, the biggest things that I'm looking at the burst that he has. He reduces angles from the time he catches the football, really coming out of his breaks. All of those things, he has elite level bursts, and that's where we see the most of his production and separation come from. And then that stop and start ability. He's able to go one direction, stop, and completely move his hips, cut back the other way, and make guys again miss with that burst. So the stop start combined with his acceleration is ridiculous. And then you have a guy who's a pure Z, in my opinion. I think you can move him around, use him on different kinds of motions, get him the ball at wide receiver screens, just let him utilize space, because that is really how he's going to continue to be one of the best playmakers, not only in this draft, but in the NFL when he gets to that ceiling. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be insane depending on where he goes.
Yeah, and it's just like, I was talking to Alfredo, doing some of these rookie profiles and like the top 5 prospects, it's borderline boring because like we all, it's like so glaring what is good about it on tape that we all kind of say the same things. But like, again, like it's fun to watch because like for me, the incredible fluid hips and bend to make those quick cuts at high speeds, like and him and Brian Thomas, watching their film, just watching them bend and then make like a double move at going that fast, and he can torque it down, but like he doesn't have to. It's incredible. And then like we both said, the elite speed to separate deep. If he gets that step on you, it is game over, and that translates to my last point of being the definition of dangerous after the catch. And I mean, we've seen guys like Kadarius Toney or whatever, but I mean, having this kind of complete wide receiver who could play deep, run every route, and then if you want to do the deke and dunk a short game, it's perfect. I know for me, I definitely see where people say that he is like a could be the wide receiver one for him and Marvin Harrison Jr. It just depends on landing spot. But when we go to our rookie guide, which you can go to footballguys.com right now and download, we can go over the strengths: explosive release, top end speed, and allow him to win over all areas of the field. And again, you know, this is Jeff Bell written all over it, created after the catch, and should be able to step in as a team's top wide receiver right away. There are very few teams, and you know the teams with wide receivers where Malik Nabers is going to go in and then be the wide receiver too. I don't see the Vikings going wide receiver again. I don't see the Bengals going wide receiver. The Jets could be, that'll be a conversation if that would happen, but I don't really see him falling that far anyway. And he should be able to step in as a team's top wide receiver. And then again, on our rookie guide, the improvements that we like to see: limited route tree focused on vertical and short routes. This is the only thing I'd push back on. I think that's more about scheme. And then I don't know what you think, Harms, but like, again, the stuff I see, like the bend, the fluidity, all the tools are there for him to have a more complex route tree. It's not like Quentin Johnston or these other guys who are stiff. I don't see that at all, and defers to creativity over technical route running. I don't think that's so much a bad thing either. You know, again, we're trying to find holes in this. Yeah, he could do something creative instead of just doing what's by the book route. But to me, that's just good coaching. What do you see that he would, if he needs any improvement on, what would he improve on?
There's a couple of games, honestly. You look at him 2 years ago against Alabama, this past year against Florida State. Physical guys on the outside when he's playing the X position. If you can get hands on him, you can reroute him. He doesn't have as great of that body control to the outside, in my opinion. You can kind of force him off his route, push him outside. And a guy like Renardo Green from Florida State shut him down for a large portion of that football game. And that does worry me to an extent. It's why I qualify him more as a Z, because he's going to be moved around a ton. It's not so much like a bad thing about him to be moved around a lot, but getting that extra bit of space, allowing him not to only have to go against some of these more physical guys in the NFL, but even so, I think that regardless of the issues that he has and creativity aside, timing routes in the NFL are far more prevalent. So when he is a little more creative, that can throw off the timing of the player or the scheme, whatever you're looking for. So he will have to be a little bit more on time, on target. I've also heard that he's a little bit of a diva in the sense that he commanded a certain amount of touches each game. So we're going to have to see how that plays into wherever his landing spot is. But at the end of the day, this is a guy, again, who is going to continue to get better. He's an elite tier athlete with elite speed, elite change of direction, burst, all those things to become like a legit top level Z, in my opinion, kind of like Garrett Wilson is. So all those strengths and improvement things aside, I believe he's got the work ethic to continue to get better at that. So we'll see how those all change out when he gets into the NFL.
Yeah, and it's like you said, like his problems are coachable problems. Like just reel him in, reel him in. Right. Hey, kind of stick to the route. You only got X amount of time. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with being a Z guy. Like Zay Flowers is a Z. Like, and for you guys don't know the difference between Z and X. X is close to the line of scrimmage. Z is generally off, and you can move them around. It's kind of like a slot that can play outside. So I'm not really focused about that at all. And again, download our rookie guide at footballguys.com, where you can get our full analysis. Until then, we'll go over the analytics. PFF has him as a 93.3, which is the highest grade for wide receivers out of this rookie class. 3.81 yards per route run, also the highest in the class. Granted, this is just for the season, but it was a hell of a season. And he's the 84th percentile of success against man, according to reception perception, which just dropped. I know you, like me, like you read the analytics, but you're a film guy like me. But it's always good when the numbers say what you see on film at the same time. It's like
that's what it's for, right? Like, all right, cool, we're good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, cool, I'm doubly right. So there's nothing. To me, there's no holes in his analytical profile. And then if you go and we go to the Dynasty rookie ADP that's put together by our boy Jay Stein. Again, another reason why you should go over to Football Guys. Jay, he does the Lord's work for us by doing all the number stuff that I'm too dumb to understand. And he compiles the data. Right now, he's looking like the 103 in most rookie drafts, and that's for super flex. And I know that there's guys that'll take him 1/2 over Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm for one, I wouldn't be shocked if you would want to take him or Marvin Harrison Jr. 101. If you just happen to be those guys that have good quarterbacks and you have the 101 and you just want to get your guy, go ahead and pull the trigger. I think that all these guys are very, very good. He's currently still the wide receiver 2, but he has been trending up. And a lot of that is, the analytics has really buoyed him up. A lot of the film guys, we're all singing the same chorus. But it's really good when film and analytics guys are working together to really like a prospect. And we update those numbers weekly on the website. So make sure to check the link in the comments below. So now, with that being said, let's talk about where we rank them. And we're pretty much neck and neck. I have him as a wide receiver 2. He's my 4th prospect overall. Harms, I'm assuming you have him the same.
I do have him the exact same. And I actually also do my own film grades for like a draft perspective, NFL perspective, and then we also have them for fantasy. So because of what Malik Nabers offers, it's like, well, why would I not put him this high? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And you want to put him at number 1? Go for it. I'm not going to argue with you. He's going to command a ton of targets. He's going to get a lot of yards. So yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want.
Yeah. It's to me, he's gonna get targets. I know we talk about can't miss prospects. There's very, very few holes in his game. Then when we take a step back and then look at it from like an overall dynasty perspective, I already have him as my wide receiver 9. To me, if you're in a startup, if you can get him as your wide receiver 1, I'm assuming you're kind of punting, or maybe you're just going with a younger build and thinking more of like a 2 to 3 year window instead of win now. But if you can get him as your wide receiver 2, and depending on how you draft, to me, that's a slam dunk. You probably have to make moves for that. Harms, where do you have him at?
Yeah, I've got him a little bit lower. I've got him just outside the top 10, specifically because we know that there are guys that are ascending in the NFL. They're young as well. I can't have him right over them because I still think that there's going to be room for them to grow. And I'm still wary about landing spot. I know where Drake London is this year. I know who's throwing him the football. And the same with like guys like Jalen Waddle and who are going to be in that range, and Chris Olave as well. So I just right outside at number wide receiver 12, until maybe that landing spot drops, and then we'll kind of change it a little bit.
Yeah. And so I said the same thing about Marvin Harrison too. It's like to me, this is still bullish. This could go higher or it could go lower.
Yeah, right.
It depends on what happens. Like we both still I have him 20th overall. You have him 28th. That's still again, you're spending a second to early third round startup pick with him right now. A incredibly valuable player. And again, all of our rookie dynasty and redraft rankings, you can get the full list individually over on footballguys.com. Check out stuff from our other analysts like me, Harms, Jay Stein for analytics, and then the guys who put together our rookie guide like Christian Williams, Jeff Bell, and Kevin Coleman. And our YouTube channel is going to be filled with more of these rookie profiles. I know me and Harms are about to go talk about Rome Odunze. We've already talked about Marvin Harrison. We've already talked about Caleb Williams. And we're going to get a little bit deeper into the guys that aren't already part of the Justice League later. So make sure you subscribe and keep track of all of that.